Good morning, guys. Made it to Standing Indian Mountain. Stayed at the Standing Indian Mountain shelter last night, which was, I think, 700 feet below my current altitude. So yesterday was just what folks say the trail will provide. Sometimes that's in material things, sometimes it's in physical things, sometimes it's in just raw education. Although I was told by somebody who didn't do a map study any more than I did that I was doing 20 yesterday from Hiawassee, or from Dix Creek Gap to Standing Indian Shelter. Actually, I think it was only 16.3. But I had my real first instance where the trail, taught me, hey, not so fast. I was doing, as you guys saw, 11, 12, I think it was maybe 2 12s, a 14. So I came out of Hiawassee thinking, oh, well, I'm strong because I've had some time off and that sort of thing. The truth of the matter is that I had a 4-day pack with food and water and everything. It was exactly the time not to try to do my first 20 or even to do my first 16. So what happened? I was kicking along, everything was good. I knew I should stop at Muskrat Shelter, just like I had said to you guys yesterday, but decided to push on. The shelter there just didn't speak to me, and there was no community that I knew, so I just decided to push on the additional, I think it's 5 miles. Well, about 2 miles into that, my body started saying, you need to stop. Well, I couldn't really stop at that point, so I just kept trudging on. And because I did do the preparation hikes of 11 to 13 3 times a week, and because I have been doing good miles, my body was able to continue forward, but at a cost. My calves swelled to about 2 times their normal size, and were really, the deck shell socks and liners were cutting into my skin really badly, and it was quite painful. Got to give a shout out to Trevor. He's got a YouTube channel, Trevor's Wild Adventures. His trail name now is Ripple or Ripples? I think Ripples. Really good guy, young guy, strong, great attitude. And he came along and basically hiked with me, not necessarily in a codependency or a dependency status, but he did slow down some so that I would stay sort of within eye shot or earshot. So it was nice of him to just watch out for a fellow hiker. He also helped me get water. So yeah, he really stepped up. The trail will provide. Stepped up when I was down but not out, but I was definitely in a learning phase of my hike. So it was really a good day, actually. Weather was nice, miles were good. North Carolina, as I had mentioned in the last video, is much harder in the sense that it's differently designed than Georgia. It's just sort of masochistic. Not sure what they're trying to prove to themselves. Because when you look at the map, some of these overs are don't appear to be necessary. But, you know, with me, none of this is, oh, well, it's going to make, you know, you're going to finish or not finish. I'm going to finish. You know, I mean, unless there's some catastrophic event, I'll do whatever the hell they throw in front of me. And I will finish this. But sometimes it just gives you less of a chance to think and contemplate when you're so consumed in, you know, essentially your foot placement. So in that sense, maybe it's a little bit of a distraction from what I kind of feel is the spirit of the trail. Anyway, whatever. One person's opinion, and not a seasoned person at that, so take it for what it is, but that's what I'm thinking about this morning. Today's a light day, so again, second lesson on just pushing a little too hard, a little too far, a little too fast, was that in some ways it's unnecessary. Now, you know, I'm not going to judge myself too harshly, because I had reason, which I said to you last time, as far as the bubble and the weather, to try to push further ahead. I think those were reasonable thoughts and decisions. The only thing is, since I hadn't done a proper map study, I didn't actually realize that this next section, I only had one of two options: 7.5 miles or a bigger double-digit day over, I believe the top peak is like 5770 or something. Anyway, over really hard ground. So, because although I did, I think, a pretty good job last night of taking care of my calf injury, whatever, calf trouble, by raising it, you know, field icing it. Obviously I don't have access to ice, but cool compression and exercise or stretching. I was feeling 100% this morning. I feel maybe a slight, very slight swelling again in that area, but not overwhelming. Of course, I'm only in about a mile to the 7.5 miles. But so now here I am, 7.5 miles. Now, had I stayed 5 miles back, I would have essentially done 2 good 12-mile days, kept consistent with my past performance, slowly developed myself, and one certainly could argue that that would have been the best choice. And I certainly couldn't argue that it would not have been. I think, however, that had my overexertion not culminated in the issue I had, by being farther ahead and not doing standing Indian Mountain at near the end of my or the middle of my day, that this would have given me a good opportunity to go on to that follow-on shelter. I mean, it's still, I can't remember exactly what it is. Don't take my word for it. I think, as I recall, it was 13 or 14 miles. But the trail said, not so fast, mister. So all of us at the shelter are going to do a 7.5 mile day and set ourselves up for a shorter day tomorrow, going over much tougher terrain, and then into Franklin the following day. So 3 nights, 4 days of hiking, which is fair. I think that's about perfect, actually, for how much you want to carry as far as resupply. But also, when you have days like this, you know, everything's drenched. I mean, the inside of my tent is dirty from all the mud being passed through, but it's relatively dry. But the outside, or the underside of my tent is wet, and of course the tarp is soaking wet. Sil nylon absorbs all this stuff. So as a consequence, you know, I've got quite a bit of weight on my back after having had, let's face it, you know, those are not easy nights. Now, who you see in front of me is a man of great honor. Vermont is, we met this morning actually, but we camped together. Right, my brother?
Yes,
How
sir.
are you doing?
Oh, you right on me?
Yeah, come on. Are you kidding me?
Hey, Scars is kicking some serious tail out here.
Yeah, I don't know about that. The channel, what's
Yes,
your
sir.
channel? Let's get some people to check you out.
Oh, Vermont the Penny Pincher.
Okay,
This
Vermont
is
the Penny
beautiful
Pincher.
out here.
Look
If
at
you
this.
like the great outdoors, good little chill, and a little
This is
peace
it.
of mind, you can't ask for anything else.
Let's get a good picture together. We'll do a selfie.
All right.
Oh yeah. We're gonna katahdin together. Right?
Yes, sir.
Darn right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
See
I'll
you at
be
the
right
shelter.
Thank you.
Be safe. Yeah, so it was great meeting him, Vermont, this morning. And yeah, that was cool. Again, like I said, it's so cool being out here with all the different personalities. I mean, what brings people out here, God knows, but it's everybody's individual adventure, and collectively we do it. So it is for all types and all personalities, and it also seems to work out. And so, you know, today's a good day. I mean, it is chilly and it's wet. That's life out here. I know it took me a long time. I didn't get out till after 10 o'clock this morning. Part of that was intentional. I intentionally did not get up and tried to sleep in to give my legs a little bit more rest. And then it took me a long time to close camp. Usually it takes me an hour and a half. It took me probably almost 2 hours because it's wet and you're trying to, again, take care of things and not get them soaked, where you're going to have to suffer with that the next, you know, tonight. And then getting in tonight, when it doesn't stop raining at 11, it'll be trying to again, put up the tent in the rain and take care of all the kit and get squared away and get some chow. Look at this tree. It's really cool. Like one side of it, I don't know if you can see, the left side of it is dead. The right side of it is still alive because it got hit by lightning. Look at that, how the lightning burned down through there. That is so cool. I just had to show it to you. But now you can see how the dead side on one side now. I wanted to show you a snapshot of the look you may be downing as you undertake this great adventure. I asked the guys last night, after it rained a bit, whether anybody had brought a battery-powered hair dryer, because I realized I had bedhead. I wanted to blow it out before I got dressed for dinner, but for some reason nobody had brought one and I had forgotten to, so I was left to look like everybody else. All the streams are quite high, and water sources. Anything that could be a water source during a normal year is a water source this year. Carter Gap Shelter. I came up on it just suddenly. I hadn't looked at gut hooks in quite a while, and didn't seem like there was any punishment to get here. And only 7.5 miles. Well, the good news is that this very easy day will be a good rest day in preparation for tomorrow, when we've got peaks over 5,500 feet, and I want to say it's going to be like an 11 or 12 mile day, which is, I think, right about my target set. But there are a bunch of peaks for tomorrow that will make it a much more difficult day. So yeah, today was wet but easy breezy. Lemon. Back again, guys. I ask that you judge me not too harshly. When I got to the shelter, 3 other people wanted to move on to Betty Creek, which was like 3.5 miles away. Would have put us at I think 11 miles, maybe 11 miles even. They were feeling like I was feeling, as far as this was a short, easy day. Also, it's a campsite, not a shelter we're going to. The rain stopped. The sun actually came out, as you can see. So it's very pleasant. And then the reminder that tomorrow night it's supposed to be 19 degrees. I hope this isn't as jittery as it feels like it's jittery, but my God, this trail's. So my sleep system is definitely not designed for 19 degrees. Now, the miles are the miles, right? We have X number of miles to do. If we do this, it puts us at the base, or near the base of Mount Albert, which is the big one to get over. That will put us on fresh legs in the morning to get over Mount Albert, and then down into a shelter area that has a road, I guess, and they said regular shuttles into Franklin. So we could be in Franklin tomorrow afternoon, stay overnight, and then head out the next morning. So sort of do a Nero in and a Nero out, or at least out the next day. So here we are. I'm about 7/10 of a mile away from the campsite. So far everything's good. Only issue I had today was some sort of thorn or briar or something in one of my shoes. Cut my foot. But I took care of that before we came out, started back, and it feels fine. So we will be down at Betty Creek campsite for tonight. It looks like there's going to be 4 of us, although maybe some of the people behind us may have turned around and done the same thing. Don't know. Okay. I'll let you know when we get